So, there's a new law coming that's really going to change how we think about security in public spaces. Now, its official name is the Terrorism Protection of Premises Act, but you'll probably hear it called Martyn's Law, and that's what this explainer is all about. We're going to give you a clear, practical guide to what it is, who it affects, and what you really need to do. So, here's what we've got on the agenda. We're going to start with the what and the why behind the law. Then we'll get into the big one. Does this actually apply to you? After that, we'll break down the two different levels of requirements, point you towards some amazing free resources, and finally, we'll zoom out and look at the bigger cultural shift this whole thing represents. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. What exactly is Martyn's Law? Let's get to grips with the foundation of this legislation. You know, before we even get into the legal nitty-gritty, it's so important to remember the human story here. The law is named in memory of Martyn Hett. His mother, Fegan Murray, has campaigned absolutely tirelessly for this, to make sure venues are better prepared to keep people safe. It's about turning an awful tragedy into a positive legacy of protection for everyone. And it's important to get that this law isn't just some standalone rule that popped up out of nowhere. As you can see from this quote from the government's own strategy, Martyn's Law is actually a key piece of the UK's wider counterterrorism efforts. It's all about strengthening our national resilience by making preparedness a core part of running any public venue or event. So what it all boils down to is this. The Act makes being prepared for a potential attack a legal requirement. Think of it just like health and safety or fire safety regulations, which we all just take for granted now. It means venues and events simply must have plans in place to reduce harm if the absolute worst were to happen. Section 2. And this is probably the question on most of your minds. Does this law even apply to me? How do you know if it's relevant for your business, your venue, or your event? Let's find out. Okay, we're going to split this into two parts. First up, let's focus on permanent locations. You know, your shops, restaurants, theaters, offices, even community halls. All right, so this is the official decision tree that helps you figure it out. I know it might look a little complicated at first glance, but trust me, it's actually a very logical set of yes or no questions. We're going to walk through the most important parts right now. So the first big test is whether your place is used wholly or mainly for what the law calls a qualifying use. And as you can see from this list, well, it's huge. It covers pretty much any type of place the public might gather. Now listen up, because this next definition is absolutely crucial from time to time. The law doesn't care about your average capacity on a quiet Tuesday morning. The real question is, can you reasonably expect to hit the capacity threshold every so often? Think about a shop during the Christmas rush, or a pub packed out for a big football match. If those peaks are predictable, then yeah, the law probably applies to you. Okay, so we've covered permanent buildings, but what about temporary events? They have their own specific set of rules. We're talking about things like music festivals, one-off exhibitions, or maybe a large outdoor market. And here we go. This is the decision tree for events. The logic is pretty similar, but the questions are tailored a little differently. The key things to look at here are public access, whether you're controlling who comes in, and, of course, the big one, capacity. So just to quickly recap the key things that make an event qualify. First, it has to be open to the public. Second, there has to be some form of entry control like tickets or security passes. And third, it has to be expecting a capacity of 800 or more people at any given time. Okay, moving on to Section 3. So you figured out the law applies to you. The next question is, what do you actually have to do? Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. The requirements are split into two different tiers based on your capacity. This slide lays out the two levels really clearly. You've got the standard tier, which is for premises with a capacity between 200 and 799 people. This is all about having simple, effective response procedures. But then you have the enhanced tier for 800 people or more, and that's a big step up. You need everything in the standard tier, plus things like proactive security measures, a formal risk assessment, and you have to name a senior person who's responsible for it all. But wait, there are a few really important exceptions you need to know about. Places of worship and most schools and colleges will always fall into the standard tier. It doesn't matter what their capacity is. And this is really just to acknowledge the significant safety and safeguarding duties they already have in place. Right, Section 4, resources and training. And this is the good news. You are absolutely not expected to suddenly become a counterterrorism expert overnight. A huge amount of official support, guidance, and training has been put together to help you get this right. And you know what the best part is?
A lot of these amazing resources are provided completely free of charge. They've been developed by official bodies like the Home Office and counterterrorism policing with one goal in mind: to help businesses and organizations prepare.
Honestly, if you're wondering where to start, look no further than the ACT Awareness e-learning course. It's a fantastic starting point for literally anyone. It's free, it's all online, and it's broken down into these really easy-to-digest modules. It covers the basics of what to look for and how to respond, and it's perfect for every single person on your team, from the CEO down to the front-of-house staff.
But hey, maybe online learning isn't your thing, or you want something a bit more hands-on. Well, there's an option for that too. Specialist counterterrorism security advisors, or CTSAs, can deliver free in-person awareness sessions. They're about 2 hours long and let you really engage and ask questions, although their availability does depend on the resources in your local area.
Okay, you're going to want to bookmark these. Think of these 3 online hubs as your go-to toolkit. Protect UK is the main official platform for everything Martyn's Law. The NPSA offers much deeper dives into physical security, and SCAN provides some excellent training on how to spot and report suspicious behavior. Seriously, these 3 are your key resources. And for our final section, let's just zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture this legislation is creating for the whole country. This definition really hits the nail on the head, because the ultimate goal of Martyn's Law isn't just about ticking boxes on a form. It's about building a genuine security culture. It means making security a shared value, where everyone from the top down understands the role they play in keeping people safe. So when you boil it all down, this act is really about building a stronger, more resilient society by making preparedness a shared responsibility. It's about making security as normal as knowing where the fire exit is. It's about making sure that wherever we go, we're all just that little bit safer. So we'll leave you with a question to think about. What does a truly prepared community look like to you?